Peoples of IRC and elsewhere, this is Undefeatable Twilight again. Hopefully the right orientation this time. I did remember to turn on auto-rotate on my phone. So, here we are with chapter 27 of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I hope you guys can see me. I can't see myself right now, so I don't know what I look like. But hopefully you can at least hear me, if not see me. Here we are. Slatty study was a total mess, like the results of an explosion in a public library. The old man frowned as they stepped in. Terribly unfortunate, he said. A diode blew in one of the life support computers. When we tried to revive our cleaning stuff, we discovered they'd been dead for nearly 30,000 years. Who's going to clear away the bodies? That's what I want to know. Look, why don't you sit yourself down over there and let me plug you in? He gestured Arthur towards a chair, which looked as if it had been made out of the ribcage of a stegosaurus. It's made out of the ribcage of a stegosaurus, explained the old man as he pottered about fishing bits of wire out from under tottering piles of paper and drawing instruments. Here, he said, hold these, and passed a couple of stripped wire ends to Arthur. The instant he took hold of them, a bird flew straight through him. He was suspended in mid-air and totally invisible to himself. Beneath him was a pretty tree-lined city square, and all around it, as far as the eye could see, were white concrete buildings of airy, spacious design, but somewhat the worse for wear. Many were cracked and stained with rain. Today, however, the sun was shining, a fresh breeze danced lightly through the trees, and the odd sensation that all the buildings were quietly humming was probably caused by the fact that the square and all the streets around it were thronged with cheerful, excited people. Somewhere a band was playing, brightly coloured flags were fluttering in the breeze, and the spirit of carnival was in the air. Arthur felt extraordinarily lonely stuck up in the air above it all without so much as a body to his name, but before he had time to reflect on this, a voice rang out across the square and called for everyone's attention. A man standing on a brightly dressed dais before the building which clearly dominated the square was addressing the crowd over a tannoy. "O people who wait in the shadow of deep thought," he cried out, "honoured descendants of Broomfondle and Magic Thighs, the greatest and most truly interesting pundits the universe has ever known, the time of waiting is over!" Wild cheers broke out amongst the crowd. Flags, streamers, and wolf whistles sailed through the air. The narrower streets looked rather like centipedes rolled over on their backs and frantically waving their legs in the air. 7.5 million years our race has waited for this great and hopefully enlightening day, cried the cheerleader. The day of the answer! Hurrahs burst from the ecstatic crowd. Never again, cried the man, never again will we wake up in the morning and think, who am I? What is my purpose in life? Does it really, cosmically speaking, matter if I don't get up and go to work? For today we will finally learn once and for all the plain and simple answer to all these nagging little problems of life, the universe, and everything. As the crowd erupted once again, Arthur found himself gliding through the air and down towards one of the large stately windows on the first floor of the building behind the dais from which the speaker was addressing the crowd. He experienced a moment's panic as he sailed straight towards the window, which passed when a second or so later he found he had gone right through the solid glass without apparently touching it. No one in the room remarked on his peculiar arrival, which is hardly surprising as he wasn't there. He began to realise that the whole experience was merely a recorded projection which knocked 6-track 70mm into a cocked hat. The room was much as Slarty Bartfast had described it. In 7.5 million years it had been well looked after and cleaned regularly every century or so. The ultra-mahogany desk was worn at the edges, the carpet a little faded now, but the large computer terminal sat in sparkling glory on the desk's leather top, as bright as if it had been constructed yesterday. Two severely dressed men sat respectfully before the terminal and waited. "The time is nearly upon us," said one, and Arthur was surprised to see a word suddenly materialise in thin air just by the man's neck. The word was loonquall, and it flashed a couple of times and then disappeared again. Before Arthur was able to assimilate this, the other man spoke, and the word foochk appeared by his neck. 75,000 generations ago, our ancestors set this program in motion, the second man said, and in all that time we will be the first to hear the computer speak. "An awesome prospect, Foochk," agreed the first man. I don't know how to pronounce these, come on. And Arthur suddenly realised he was watching a recording with subtitles. "We are the ones who will hear," said Foochk, "the answer to the great question of life. The universe," said Loonquall, "and everything." "Shh," said Loonquall with a slight gesture. "I think Deep Thought is preparing to speak." There was a moment's expectant pause whilst panels slowly came to life on the front of the console. Lights flashed on and off experimentally and settled down into a business-like pattern. A soft, low hum came from the communication channel. "Good morning," said Deep Thought at last. Good morning, oh Deep Thought," said Lunqual nervously. "Do you have, an answer for you?" interrupted Deep Thought majestically. "Yes, I have." The two men shivered with expectancy. Their waiting had not been in vain. "There really is one," breathed Fuchs. "There really is one," confirmed Deep Thought. "To everything? To the great question of life, the universe, and everything?" "Yes." Both of the men had been trained for this moment. Their lives had been a preparation for it. They had been selected at birth as those who had witnessed the answer, but even so they found themselves gasping and squirming like excited children. "And you're ready to give it to us?" urged Lunqual. "I am." "Now." "Now," said Deep Thought. They both licked their dry lips. "Though I don't think," added Deep Thought, "that you're going to like it." "Doesn't matter," said Fuchs. "We must know it. Now." "Now?" inquired Deep Thought. "Yes, now." "All right," said the computer and settled into silence again. The two men fidgeted. The tension was unbearable. "You're really not going to like it," observed Deep Thought. "Tell us." "All right," said Deep Thought. "The answer to the great question, yes, of life, the universe, and everything," said Deep Thought. "Yes, is," said Deep Thought, and paused. "Yes, is, yes." 42, said Deep Thought, with infinite majesty and calm. And that's it. That's the end of chapter 27. So, hope you liked it. See you again next week for chapter 28. Take care. Love and peace.